Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum. My name is Gary Young. I am one of the facilitators of this wonderful Gary Young, one of your facilitators, along with Ms. Laura McCletty, Ms. Carlenia Ivory Canty, Ms. Jackie Edwards Walton, Ms. Natalie McElrath, Mr. Winston Robinson, Mr. Steve Johnson, Mr. Shay Abdullah, and Ms. Mary Johnson. All right, our forum runs from 8:30 to 10 a.m. At 9:45, we will pause for announcements and questions. We do ask for silence, so please silence your phones, silence your watches, no interruptions throughout this process. We always begin with a prayer, and our bishop is not here, nor is our secondary bishop. Does anybody want to lead us in prayer? Come on, I can do it. We're gonna get you a microphone. World needs to be your voice.
Thanks, sir. I want everybody to bow your heads, but I need you to close your eyes and open your hearts and ask God for forgiveness. Dear God, I want you to give us forgiveness. I want you to bless this house with the opportunity to give everybody an open mind so that we can receive information and we can ask the hard questions and we can participate in a movement to heal our community. Dear Lord, I'm asking you to touch the hearts of the people in this community because our children are out there suffering. We have mothers and fathers that are out there suffering, and we need you, Lord. You have brought us together for a divine purpose, and I am here as your shepherd, to deliver a message and to ask the community to be a part of this process. In Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. So this morning we will have school boards districts 2, 4, 5, and 6 candidates today. We will ask the candidates as you introduce yourselves, please stay seated as the cameras will not have your face. So it's actually a benefit for you guys. So without further ado, if we would like to go around and introduce our candidates, allow you to introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
And you'll have 2 minutes for their introduction.
You heard that, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh. You first, Mr. Hall.
All right. Good morning. My name is Juan Enrique Palamente Hall. I'm running for School Board District 2. I am a certified aircraft mechanic, certified diesel mechanic, and I'm very heavily into the vocational part of learning. I am a certified peer support. I've had rap training. I work with ATV in the District 2 sector. I work with VAP in the Juvenile Justice Department. I am a certified college coach. I'm up at Livingstone College right now, player personnel and undeveloped talent. We currently set #1 in the CIAA as we beat Bowie State last week. My sole purpose for running is to get us back to the basics. We got to get back to the basics. Our kids got to learn to write in cursive. Our kids got to learn to read their simple tool on the wall there in the clock. Our students got to get back to having behavior. We got to set a code of conduct with dressing. We got to get them back to treating adults like adults. We have to make them understand that abnormal cannot be normal anymore. We got to get back to the normal being normal. And basically, that's it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Klein. I currently am on the school board for District 5. I was a career educator, 30 years in CMS, 10 years out of state. I was a teacher and an administrator, primarily at West Mecklenburg, Philip Berry, and Harding High Schools. I retired from Andre Kell in 2019 and then came back teaching pods and then came back to my full passion of the school and the children. I truly believe we are on the right track. I would love to continue what we've started. We are seeing growth. We are seeing children who are engaged, and they are embracing those endless possibilities that our superintendent has put forward. They are going to college. They are enrolled. They are enlisted, joining the armed services, and they are employed, becoming contributing citizens to our society. So please remember me in November. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Shemaya Haynes, and I'm proudly running for District 2 School Board. I would like to acknowledge the weight of this room to say that I'm very grateful to be here today. I know who Sarah Stevenson was, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my entire platform because I have been active enough in this community to where many of you already know what I've done in education. I'm Shemaya Haynes. Please support me in District 2. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm
Good morning.
Cynthia Stone. I second. Is it working?
Yeah.
Ah, there it is. Okay. Got to talk into it. I'm Cynthia Stone. I am running for District 5. I want to thank you guys, all of you, for setting this opportunity up so that you have an opportunity to find out what you need to know about what's going on and how to plan for the next 4 years, at least for the district candidates. I want to also second everything Shemaya said about the Sarah Stevenson program and what you offer to your neighborhood and the people in your district. So I recently retired from CMS in December 2023. I spent 25 years outside of education and returned to the classroom because A, education happens in the classroom, and B, primary driver was my commitment that education is what eradicates poverty and allows people to move forward in their lives. We have to make sure that the kids in our care are provided with all the tools they have available and that we are supporting everything they need to have a good life and become productive citizens. So, as I said, District 5, I appreciate you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Stephanie Sneed. I have the honor and the privilege of serving as the current Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education chairperson. I am an attorney, I am an advocate, I'm a wife, and I'm a CMS parent to 2 children that are currently in CMS. One graduated from West Charlotte this year. I have weathered the storm of CMS. I have lived it, I have breathed it, and I know although we are making historic gains, there's still work to do. As many of you know, I started this journey almost a decade ago, and I often spoke at the school board meetings, and I often began with, we are in a state of emergency. Every time I said we are in a state of emergency. And I say that again today, even though, again, that we've made historic gains, I'm saying we're in a state of emergency for different reasons. One, because we have, which has been a continual problem, we have underfunding for our public schools, despite the fact that most of our children attend public schools across the state. We have an effort to dismantle public education from the federal government. But my biggest concern is why I say that we are in a state of emergency, because we have too many people not focused on the right things, which is educating our students, because that's what shapes society. But no matter what, I'm still standing, despite the challenges. I'm still serving for our students, and I'm still standing in the gap. And for that reason, there is no such time as now for me to continue my work for CMS, because CMS still needs me.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tony Emmahel, and I'm running for School Board District 6. I'm a mother, I'm a grandparent, I'm a product of CMS schools. I was in a meeting not too long ago and realized that I'm a proud product of the Nation's Forward Corridor. There's a lot of movement over there. The schools that I went to were actually in District 6, and I still have children in District 6. About 20 years ago, I retired from corporate America, a very successful career, to focus solely on educating my children. So education is very important to me. So I want to alert you to maybe just one thing, that as we go through this process of selecting our next leaders in this school board race, be careful to listen to the terminology. There's a scripture that says, the poor you will always have among you. So when you hear someone say, not every child is going to college, I want you to align that with the scripture. The system is designed to get the results that it has. So when someone says that not every child is going to college, that statement has a target on it. And I want you to listen carefully, again, to the terminology. I'm very serious about education. So serious that I had to come out of retirement to run for this seat. For more information on me, my website is aimhighwithtony.com.
All right, thank you guys for that. One thing that was a little short-sighted about me, one thing we do like to do is recognize our first-time visitors. So if you are a first-time visitor, please stand at this moment. Panelists included. You got it. Ms. Mayor. Ms. Mayor's gonna come around and allow you to introduce yourselves.
I'm Manny Higgins. I live up in Mountain Island, Shemaiah Haynes School Board District 2. Thank you.
Good morning. John Eric Hill. I'm also here with my amazing wife, Tony Hill. And I will just echo, she has been very serious about education. She has definitely focused on making sure that our students, our children, are in the right school, but now she wants to make sure that all schools are excellent. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Latoya Owens, CMS graduate, CMS parent, Huntersville resident. I'm just interested in what the candidates have to say today in the field of educational philanthropy and policy. So wanted to see what everyone had to say. Thank you.
All right, we will start with our round of questions, and that will start with none other than Mr. Coates.
Good morning, everyone. Some of you have alluded to the difficult times that we're in, and I've seen this before when Charlotte-Mecklenburg elected 3 anti-busing for desegregation candidates in one time. While Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools are a non-political designation candidate, but this time calls for difficult things. So I'm going to ask each of you to tell me your political affiliation and what your positions are on where we're headed overall in education. Yeah, all of them. That's to each of you.
Okay. I think because we have so many candidates, I don't.
At least 1 minute.
30 seconds.
No, they can't. 30 seconds is enough.
We're gonna start at this end, but we'll pass it on for the next few questions. So 1 minute. Can you repeat the question?
What party are you affiliated with?
Republican.
And what was the second part?
Yes.
That's good enough for me. I don't know about anybody else, but that's to each of you.
I'm a member of the Republican Party.
I'm currently a member of the Democratic Party. I don't support book bans or bans on Black history.
Lifelong Democrat.
Democratic Party.
I'm also a part of the Democratic Party, and my concern with the direction that our school system is going in is that we are building bridges to different things, but we're leaving students in the gaps. And when you build a bridge, that gap does not go anywhere. It's still there. And when I hear terms like, let's meet the students where they are and push them out into workforce or a job or becoming wage earners, that leaves me concerned because there's no point of reference that says let's wrap resources around them to fill the educational gap that keeps them performing at low proficiencies. So there's about 72, 73% of the students between 5th to 8th grade where those proficiencies and those gaps still are there. And so rather than pushing them down through an isolated pipeline to a hourly wage earning job, that is my concern with the different policies that we're seeking to see created with the different other things. So Democrat, and that is my concern.
Good morning,
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. And I live in District 2. I was a CMS school teacher for 2 years. So actually, I'm specifically interested in Ms. Emma Hall's question or response to the targeted system of enrollments that not every student needs to go to college, because I had 2 sons that did not want to enroll in college. That made my head spin earlier as a parent, but I do believe that there are spaces for children, especially now with the cost of college, where they should be expounded. So my question is to you, can you expound a little bit more? Do you believe that CMS's policy of enrolled, enlisted, or employed is appropriate, and if not, why?
I believe that the policy is appropriate because every student needs a pathway forward. My concern are the students that are in the gaps. So when I hear different, let's say different candidates and the current narrative speak of those different pathways, what I hear is let us meet students where they are and push them into a pathway. What I don't hear is let us deal with the proficiency gaps. Let's wrap the resources around them that Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools is required to wrap around them to deal with the lack of proficiency. So that is my concern. Yes, we need pathways and we need to be supporting these students, but let's look at the basic foundations of education. Where is the gap, the learning gap that they are missing? And let's wrap the resources around them to fill that gap, not bridge.
So I would like to address what employed, enrolled, and enlisted means. So you can't be employed, enrolled, and enlisted without having the basics. So the way that our goals are set up is that you have to meet proficiency gaps. You can't be non-proficient and for us to be considered achieving those goals. That's impossible. So, because even if you go into the employment field, if you go into a trade, for example, what we know is that some of it, when you come into the workplace, you have to take a math test. My husband works at a steel plant. So the first thing they do is give you a math test. So you have to have that basic skill in order to be proficient and successful in those jobs. So we don't count success as improficiency. So I think that, so we need to be clear on that and indicating and the factors that we have and making it determined there are certain indicators that you have to meet for us to count you as successfully employed, that you can have gainful employment with a meaningful career at the time of graduation.
She can use that mic.
No, whatever mic. Oh, I thought. Sorry. There is an achievement gap, and we have to deal with it. in the classroom, what I've observed is about 70% of kids learn how to read. But there are other things that are combined with that. Early intervention in learning challenges, absolutely critical. We absolutely need to focus on reading comprehension and reading understanding what you read, ability to sound out. Phonetic instruction is an underpinning of reading. There's a title language with it. It's just key. But even though the numbers shows a lot of gains, I'm curious about what's underneath those numbers. I spent 20 odd years in corporate, and numbers were the way of life. So what is the data actually speaking to, and what comprises that data? Is it simply based on test scores? Are we looking at teacher observation? Are we looking at other factors that impact students?
I hope I don't venture from what the real question was. Hearing this framed in this way touches me deeply, because what a lot of people don't know is that I have a technical degree. And what that means is I got a GED, and I went to a technical college. And what that technical college did was prepare me to go into the workforce and be competitive. I have competed with people who have much more education than I have, formal education. And I think that on one hand, we can say that the framing of our language is disparaging to people, but I don't see it that way. What I see is that we're having an awakening around people being pushed into colleges and getting student loan debt when they're not academically inclined. A person my son who went through West Charlotte IB program, he is now in a trade and he's making much more money in that trade. So let's just be clear. College and career readiness is an extension of proficiency.
We evaluate using college and career readiness. We do meet our children where they are, but we lift them up because we have to support them to be ready when they leave Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. And we talk about college. College isn't for everyone. My son went to college, dropped out, worked, then went back, but he paid his own way, and he said, I was not ready when I left high school. I had to get out in the workforce. And if it hadn't been for those CTE classes, he wouldn't have gotten a job at 18 years old. So we have to have our children prepared for anything and everything after they leave our doors. So let's look at what we're doing. We do have a long ways to go, and we need to look at that reading gap and have all of our children mathematically and literacy ready.
Well, I'm gonna get back to the basics. I think CMS is doing a great job with the time they have with the students. But we have to understand that if you're not dealing with the kids directly, because some kids, I say, what do you want to be when you get older? They say, Coach, nobody never asked me that. So some kids want to be influencers. Some kids want to be gamers. And I had to learn, even with my kids, you got to love them for what they want to be. Some kids just want to get a van and go out in detail. They want to do, you need to understand that everybody, when they say don't want to go to college, I didn't want to go to college. I didn't like school. But I had a mechanical aptitude, and I found something that interested me. I learned how to work on diesel trucks. I learned how to work on airplanes, and I love working with kids. I became a college coach. Now I'm up in Livingstone, and I grew with over a period of time. Everybody don't grow at the same time. Everybody don't learn at the same time. A D student become a C student, and we have to love them for who they are. And all this education is a great thing, but we still have to get back to loving our kids.
Time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was in Raleigh, fighting for y'all. Y'all see this? Invest in our youth, invest in our future. Up there in Raleigh dealing with the budget. I remember when my son was a plaintiff with Ferguson and dealing with school and stuff. And so my question is, we always talk about a sound basic education. So really, what does that look like to you? What does that really look like to you for our students?
Well, the question is, what does it look like to you? Because we represent you. So before we developed our goals, we collected 60,000 pieces of data. And some of you were in there. We went to churches, we went to community leagues, we had it digitally. We asked students, we asked teachers. We reached out to you and asked, what does that mean? And so, you know what came back was typically the basics, reading, math. There were some other things like investing, taxes. So of course our goals, and again, they want to make, and you said that you wanted to make sure students will be able to live a meaningful, successful, productive life. So that's employed, enrolled, and enlisted, right? So we captured all of those goals based on the data that we collected from you. And then there were other things that were social issues, social constructs that, you know, that we need to come into a reality about as well, the responsibility of the community. Some of the things we got back were, I'll come back to that. My time is up.
When we talk about meeting children where they are, I think one component needs to be considered, and that's readiness, learning readiness. CMS recently has opened several pre-K programs, which I applaud. The trick is here, kids at that age are concrete learners. That means they have to touch, and they have to feel, and they have to be able to interact with whatever it is they're learning. If they are allowed the time to develop their concrete understandings of language and of math, then the long-term success is certainly more adequately supported than teaching them with abstract information, expecting them to perform or develop a deep understanding. What I feel like we need to do is look at where we're trying to take these kids and how are we trying to get them there. We know what we want to do, we know what the outcomes we would like to see, but what we don't know, I don't feel like we really consider where children are from a developmental standpoint. And it's important that that learning readiness is there because, hey, Sarah Palin memorized bunches of lines, but couldn't understand what the Fed was.
I like what Ms. Sneed said. Is what do you want your child's education to look like? That's a beautiful thing because everybody in here got a unique way they want their child to look at for their education. With me, I wanted all of mine to be academians because I wasn't, and I had to learn. My daughter, she loves animals. She's up at Leeds McCray now, pre-veterinary. My other daughter wanted to be a dancer. She's at Northwest School of Arts and she's bilingual. She's going to start biology and Spelman already. She's on track. My other son is a double major with psychology and criminal justice at A&T, and the other one got his own truck driving authority. So, like Ms. Seed said, what do you want your child's education to look like? Because they only have them a couple hours out the day, but you have given them birth and nurtured them throughout life, and it's all about the foundational teachings that you give your child at home, and they represent you when they go out.
I believe the term sound basic education is a little bit vague. It doesn't speak to what we really all want in education. Because the truth is, we want more than a sound basic education for our children. What we really want is one that expands a child's mind, their creativity, their ideals for who they can be out in the world, and creating a society that has enough intellect and ability to reason and rationalize and grow themselves in that way. So for me, I understand why we say from a legal perspective, a sound basic education, but I've always wanted so much more for our community. I've always worked towards those things. I think it's important for us to accept terminology as is, but also to think about, really we need to go beyond that in order for our society to be what we want it to be.
So you have a one mic for you three and then one mic for you.
Oh, okay. Sound basic education. Again, we did the studies. We went and asked the community what you wanted. And our goals currently reflect the community. But in my opinion, a sound basic education is to prepare the children for the future. My father, God rest his soul, used to say, I spent 20 years looking at the south side of a northbound mule when he was farming. And he always wanted what was better than what he had for me. So I want what's better than what I had and all of us had for our children for tomorrow.
And to piggyback on what she said is education is the insurance policy that every parent has for their children and their success when the parent is no longer there to walk alongside of them, to make the way for them. So if we fail at giving them the skill sets that they need to successfully compete in college applications, to successfully compete in the corporate market when they're applying for jobs, to successfully compete in any realm of this world that they choose to go. And that comes with a sound education that teaches them how not to just call words, but how to understand those words and how they apply to themselves and the world around them. They have to be able to have that comprehensive knowledge of the language that they're speaking. They have to know when their definition of a word doesn't align with someone else's. So that's a sound education for me.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. This takes a lot of, what should I say, courage, bravery, or whatever to put yourself out front. I asked this question last week of some of the candidates, and I wanted to ask it of you. My name is Darnell Ivory. I'm a retired educator. What do you see as the top 3 strengths of our school district, and what are its most significant challenges? Again, what are the top 3 strengths of our school district, and what are its most significant challenges?
All right, before we answer that question, we are going to shift to 30 seconds per answer because we are running against time where it's, 7 minutes per answer, per question.
I
So,
don't think that could be answered in 30 seconds.
hey, talk expeditiously.
We'll never give them 30, that's too short. Yeah, that's truly.
Hey, this is what we've been discussing because we're running against it. But no, try to do your best. We told them 30, we're gonna take 45.
Well, just take one of those.
One strength.
The top one. What did you say? This is 1 and 1.
I think one of the top strengths is CMS, the way they're building new schools and making more innovative.
You can do one strength and one challenge.
And the challenge is the dress code. The dress code with the bonnets on the head and coming to school with whips on and Crocs and leaving early.
Our strength right now is our staff. They're lasers focused on growing our students. Our weakness is our size. We're huge. And unfortunately, we will remain huge because of the cost effectiveness. But again, we have to look at both and balance it.
Our major strength is the fact that we've retained a highly competent superintendent. Our challenges are, to be quite honest, are exceptional children and having lack of resources to really serve them fully in a way that they need to be served. I could say more, but I only have 30 seconds, y'all.
Strengths, I can give it to you, all of it. CMS is forward thinking. They work hard to connect with families and parents. And they also leverage community partnerships quite well. Weaknesses, student achievement gap. Inequities in facilities and services across the district, because again, we are big, but there needs to be some baselines. And also emergency staffing done to fill vacancies.
So our strength is, a couple of our strengths is that we have made historic gains not ever before seen in CMS history in our terms of academics. And that's directly attributed to our goals, our superintendent, and our strategic plan. Our weaknesses is that, one more strength, but our weaknesses are that we still need to make sure we have highly qualified teachers in every classroom and more intentional community engagement.
So I would say this strength is that CMS does a lot of nice, pretty charts that they put online for anyone who's interested to see. I would say the weakness is the honest communication that should be paralleled with those nice presentations and the student achievement gaps that continue to exist.
And in further the question, I think that CMS's greatest strengths are they are effectively and working towards more effectively following the strategic framework for student outcome focused governance, which does help improve student outcomes and reduce inequities. And so continuing following that framework is fantastic. And then just making sure that, you know, they have all that data, which is part of that great strength. And then weaknesses, I think that listening to the input of the community and doing something with that information is one of our greatest weaknesses. I'm at time. Thank you.
All right. Did everybody have the opportunity to answer the question?
Yes.
All right. So
So
before Ms. Owens asks her next question, I got y'all. I got you. Before Ms. Owens asks her question, we would like to give Ms. King the opportunity to give her a minute to introduce herself, state her platform, parent responsibilities. We understand how that goes. So Ms. King, the floor is yours for the next minute to introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing me to make sure my kid gets dropped off and all that stuff first. My name's Jillian King. I am running for District 4, and my platform is basically student safety being my #1 priority, making sure that they are safe and that families feel safe. And that #2 is communication. So like I said, one of our greatest weaknesses is that buy-in and that communication with the public, and making sure that the communities are feeling heard and that they are being heard, and we're doing something with what is coming from the communities they're telling us are their concerns. So that's me. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. King. Now, Ms. Owens, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So acknowledging the recent historic gains, right, in the district with student outcomes in spite of, let's say, COVID learning loss, opposition federally, opposition from the state legislature, et cetera, we do understand that there are things that are working in CMS, right? My children are represented at Lincoln Heights Montessori School, which is one of the most successful primary or elementary schools throughout the district, which I recognized 5 years ago before it was recognized by the district. What I want to understand is, as candidates, since there are things that are working, what initiatives from the board or the superintendent do you align with or currently want to support, and how do you see yourself playing a role to support that or further that initiative?
Okay, I guess it starts with me now since I have the mic.
30 seconds.
Fantastic. So like I had said just a second ago, that student outcomes focused governance framework, all of us are being sort of trained on that and understanding that framework. And I think that that has been one of the reasons, if not the main reason, for the historic gains we've been seeing basically since it was put in place. And so the sort of book that outlines that stuff kind of says, like, this is the outcomes you'll see if you do it this way. and that has been happening. So definitely just sort of staying with that initiative and making sure that we follow that is my biggest alignment.
And I would say my alignment is improved student outcomes, because we know that students have to compete in whatever realm of life that they're going to. And also that we ensure that we're preparing them for broad range competition in the real world. Not the world today, but the world that's the future that they will face, which including AI training. That now needs to be a part of their basic education. We need to prepare them not just for today, but what their future is.
I would like to say, I like the way CMS is dealing with the multicultural children that's coming into CMS, how they bridging the gap between the Hispanic community and everybody that's coming in, and also how they're helping the kids with autism and really trying to understand the basic needs with the kids and that's really need, like the wraparound service with YAP and the youth advocacy program. They're doing a great job with that, and they're also doing a great job with trying to understand the kid with the behavior problems as well. They're not giving up on them. They're doing everything they can to do it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, basically, appreciate the comment about Lincoln Heights. I was affiliated with the Montessori program in CMS for 20 years. And the reason I think Lincoln Heights is so successful is because it focuses on early education, basic skill development, which would go a long way to addressing the achievement gap. I think that also we need to focus on the fact that we also have a lot of English second learners in our community, and we welcome this diversity. I really am excited about this. But
Zoe, hold it to your mouth, please, so we can hear you. We can't hear what you're saying. You finished?
I got the time card up.
Okay,
sorry.
It's not this room, it's the people that are online that can't hear you. That's why you need the mic.
So thank you so much for that question. As I pointed out, the superintendent is one of our strengths. The board's ability to retain a competent superintendent has been a major win for us, and we're seeing those results. I would support her in the frameworks that we've talked about, but also I have my own ideas in terms of what I've heard from the community, what I feel would help District 2 specifically. One of those things is the community schools model, where the entire community is engaged in the school, and it brings about resources that aren't currently available through our federal government. Thank you.
I'm sitting here listening to everyone, and I'd like to say I echo everything they say, but we've come a long ways. Our superintendent has the longest track record right now, and she has worked hard to make sure that she hears us. I don't always agree with her, but we can have a good conversation. So I like that. I think we need to continue that. Discussion. Everybody has a different viewpoint about the way that CMS is going. And the way that she listens to us is the best thing that's going on.
I thought that question was for candidates. I mean, the people, was it for everybody or those who are not currently on the board?
It can be for anyone.
I align with keeping students first. I mean, really, that's it. There's a lot of foolishness that goes on. I'm gonna be honest with you, that is not focused on students, right? So those things that move, all of the branches that stem from making sure that don't align with making sure our students are first, I don't align with that. I mean, that's just as simple as I can put it.
Good morning. Hi. My name is Earl Owens III, and I work for Genesis Project 1, which is a behavioral health, outpatient behavioral health agency. And we just so happen to have an intensive in-home team, so we deal with children. Now, I haven't heard anybody up here, with the exception of one, mention anything about the community and the 6,000 kids that are homeless. You know, I hear a lot about colleges, which really, you know, in my field of expertise, you know, a child is not even considering college, but rather would like to have a place to sleep. You know, yeah, I'm gonna ask it. So my question to you is, what are you gonna do about the kids that are homeless, the mental health necessities are needed in the school, and the gun violence?
Let's start with Stephanie, if you can, Ms. Neal, if you can start answering the question, we will move it up this way.
Okay. That's a good question. My response to that is that one of the areas that I definitely think needs improvement is community and family engagement. I'll be honest with you about that. If you watch our board meetings, I ask a lot of questions about community and family engagement. We have over 400 partners, but do I think we need to be more intentional in how far we're reaching down into the community? Yes. Do I think we need to be more intentional about where our community partners are? All y'all come and say y'all want to help West Charlotte. Okay, every one of you. But we have 186 schools. So it's 185 places you can spread out your support.
Actually, what I just mentioned, the community schools model, speaks to how the community itself can assist with these things. We are, as has been stated earlier, we're in a resource gap. You have to pay psychiatrists, psychologists, and you have to pay for those resources within a school. So, I'm sorry, I was trying to answer your question. So anyway, I do believe that.
He's gonna watch online.
Okay, okay. So I do believe, that was a little, okay, so I do believe that from that perspective, we as a community have to partner with CMS more strategically. We have to come and we have to kind of push the needle to say, hey, if my child graduated from West Charlotte, but I'm now closer to Harding, I'm gonna support Harding. And also I'm gonna hold people accountable to that. Thank you.
What's sad is we used to have community schools. We used to have the Comer Project where the community was involved in the schools and we got away from it. I'm glad to hear that we want to go back, people are wanting to go back to community schools. Because it doesn't just take the school. The school has them for a set number of hours. But we're lucky we have social workers now in schools that go out and talk. But it is a partnership. It doesn't take just the school to get that child through to 12th grade and beyond. It takes everyone. And it doesn't matter what school, it's all schools. We have the McKinney-Vento program that helps. We have other programs. And that's my time.
I would like to say I had the privilege of being mentored by the late Judge Shirley Fulton. She was one of my mentors, and she told me that I had a gift. And the first gift of it is we have to get boots on the ground. We can't always look for money to help us with our kids. We have to go out into the community and learn what we're dealing with. The second thing, we have to go talk with their families and understand what this child is dealing with from day to day, because each one of our kids have a unique thing they're dealing with. And but most of all, we got to show them love and get the big mamas back in their lives and granddaddies.
Me? Okay, cool. So this makes me think of a woman I met named Miss Moss. I don't know if you know her. She's in District 4. She's like the most incredible person in District 4. She is a therapist, a counselor out there, and she said she used to be able to go in, just have lunch with the kids she serves, do things like that, and now she's not allowed in the schools to do that. And I think she echoes something that a lot of people who really care are feeling. is that they are no longer being allowed access to be this integral part of these students' lives. And so there's a lot of people out there who want to offer their services and are not able to, other than those 400 partners, and I think we need to be connecting with them better.
Focusing on mental health, I think is one good place to start. Early identification, because you know what, if a kid has a behavior issue, first off, it's the elementary school teachers that see it first. And usually, because kids love school so much, they are not coming to school with an attitude. They're coming to learn, they're coming to be with their friends, they love their teachers. When a child is acting out at that level, you have to ask yourself why. Typically, it's masking an issue at home or an issue at school. Early identification and then early intervention in helping these kids develop resilience will go a long way to avoid crisis points later.
Is that it for everyone? Did everyone ask?
Good morning, Robert Collins. So I hear a lot of speak last week and this week as well about high school and going on to education beyond high school. But let's be honest, they look to build prisons on third grade level, or third grade scores. So every district, doesn't matter where you are, has a school that's not performing at top levels. If you are elected or re-elected, what are you gonna do to help the elementary kids? You're the first person to speak up, Ms. Stone, about the youth, the real youth, not the 17, 18-year-old just graduating. Talking about the 8, 9, 10-year-old in school that's having issues. What are we gonna do to help those kids so they're not in prison later?
So I believe, again, if we are very intentional about our children's education, not just when they get into kindergarten, but this starts preschool. This starts with possibly even building relationships with pediatric offices, that when they start giving out information to parents about their child's development, that they get a CMS flyer with information on reading, the importance of reading to your child before they even get into school. So we have to be meaningful and intentional about those partnerships.
Somebody down there? Well, I'm owner of 2 daycare facilities, and it starts in the daycare with the kids coming up to that age. You have to sit down with the parents and make them understand what their child capabilities are and have a good relationship with the parents so they can understand. Because a lot of parents do not want to accept that their child has a problem or an issue. So they tend to take them away from people that can help them and put them places, and then they grow and grow into who they are. But like I say, it all comes down to foundational teaching.
Is anyone else gonna answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not skipping a question. So for the last 4 years, I've been doing a lot of learning on early child development. That's kind of been my focus. And so I'm with you, like that solid foundation. 2 of our 4 goals right now in CMS center around those younger grades and getting those scores up, because you're right, like they base prisons on third grade scores, and that's not okay. So we need to be understanding what are developmentally appropriate tactics and abilities at those ages, and how do we nurture that and make sure that they're getting the foundation of social emotional learning. We need to get that first.
Robert, I came into this work as an angry parent because of the fact that children on the West Side were not learning. They were not actually meeting grade level and proficiency. That's why I came into this work. And in 30 seconds, what I will tell you is that I am very interested in what is happening inside of schools. If we're creating goals out here and we're talking about all the things up here, if it doesn't meet that child in their reading and in their proficiency and in their math skills, it's not helpful. I only have 30 seconds. If I had more, I promise you I could answer the question better.
As an early childhood educator, what I have noticed in the past 20-some years is we have lowered the standards. We do not expect enough out of our kids. We don't expect what they can actually do at the level where they are. They are sponges, they absorb everything. We need to capitalize on those early childhood education programs. We're starting so with the pre-K programs that CMS has recently opened. That's a great place to start, but don't make it academic because there's a lot of things they need to learn before they're ready for academic learning.
Most of my career was middle and high school, but during COVID, when I was working with young children, I saw that they were expected to read, and they didn't even know how to pronounce a vowel, the basic words. So going back to the way you learned and I learned is the best way to get started. It's those basic skills, knowing the basic words, the basic math problems. Let's look at other schools and what they're doing in other school districts. Those are the basic things. Third grade to write. We need to get beyond third grade, and we need to make that our baseline.
So one of the things when I opened up and I said that I talked about was the state of emergency, I was particularly talking about third grade reading in all my years before I was elected. So that learning gap between black and white students was literally one of the reasons I ran, and it's really the reason why I said we're in a state of emergency. Gaps are closing, but they still exist, right? But I do want to lift up something. We were the second highest in the state for growth in reading for grades 3 through 8. So we cannot forsake that. And we're on the right path. And the other thing is, time is up.
Okay, I have a call. Actually, this caller called in actually 2 questions, but I'm just going to ask one, and then I'll come back if we have time for the other one. And this is really for the 2 current school board members. How many community engagement specialists do we have servicing our schools in CMS? I'm just kind of paraphrasing here. This person says that there are only 3 for the entire school system. And what do they do?
I'm not quite sure how to answer that question. We have 19,000 employees. Am I sitting here today knowing how many are in each division? But obviously the community and family engagement has many roles in connecting. It could be from partnerships, it could be reaching out directly in the community about any particular subject area. It could be holding online sessions. We just had one last week about IEPs and 504 plans. Like the question would have to be narrowed if the person is watching for me to be able to probably adequately answer that question.
Okay, I can help you. We have 3 in the partnership department and maybe 4 in the family engagement for the whole system.
So Ms. Carlini is saying we have 3 in the partnership department, 4 in
the family engagement.
In the family engagement.
So that's for the whole 185. We have lost people that we have not hired. Okay. For 185 schools. So that's
okay. Carrie, go ahead and ask your question.
Good morning, Carrie Nelson. I live in District 2. Public education is key to equitable opportunity, and it is under attack. So I would ask those of you who are affiliated with the Republican Party, can you please address your party's plan as outlined in Project 2025 and the dismantling of the Department of Education, and how do we respond at a local level?
Well, first of all, I may be a Republican. I don't associate with Project 2025, and I've been asked that question before. I'm probably the most moderate Republican, get a lot of trouble for some of my beliefs. So I do remember a time I taught before the Department of Education came into practice. I don't like the dismantling of it the way that they're doing it. We only get 8% of our funding from the Department of Education. I may go over, I'm sorry. but we only get 8%. We have to look at the way the money is spent, and we need to streamline the number of people. 40 people in a PR department is too many up there. So I don't always agree.
Don't want to answer.
I'm running in District 2. Can I?
He doesn't want to. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna say this here, I'm gonna answer the best way I can. I really don't understand the question, but I will say, I'm not a fan of nobody dismantling anything that's helping kids, period. Black, white, anybody. I'm all about uplifting the youth. I'm not about drawing lines in the sand of what denomination you and nothing. I'm all about bringing people together. So I'm not about tearing anything down, I'm about bringing it together.
I do want to just uplift something really quickly. Is the dismantling of the Department of Education is not just about funding. It's not just about funding. Our civil rights department is within that Department of Education. Just want to lift that up.
Love and peace, family. Jamie and Aaron. Without a vote, our county commissioners moved billions from CPCC to now a $118 million cop city to train police. Rather than funding the schools to prison pipeline, what are your priorities for CMS budget? And will you advocate for budget reallocation that puts students over police and includes community input? And this question will be for the current board members in respect to your relationships with the county commissioners.
Feel free to answer.
That's the responsibility of being the chair. It's going first. So we have a great working relationship with the Board of County Commissioners. They have fully funded our budget request since I've been in leadership, I believe. Which has included a raise for teachers every year, which has not happened before. It is at 5%. We don't have control of the Board of the County Commissioners' budget to tell them where they can allocate their particular monies in terms of Cop City. I know that is a concern, and I have seen the public comments, and I attended the meeting that was brought up. I mean, certainly don't have a problem saying that, but we don't have control over the county commissioner's budget.
Chair Sneed has pretty much summed it, 3 different entities. We can certainly ask for more money for certain things, but they're going to decide where the money's spent and what's allocated to us.
Can other people answer?
Yeah, and the question was, will you advocate to reallocate the funds? That was the question.
So if they fully funded our budget request, that tells me that there is some control at the school board level because we are making requests for budget. And so my budgeting priorities would include making sure that we have those mental health services and that early education support, a lot more support in the schools for our students directly. And yes, making sure that if we do have this positive working relationship, why was it so hard for us to get an answer for the first minute of this question? We should be talking about that relationship and how positive it is, and making sure that that is something that truly is, happening, having those personal and working relationships.
Next question.
Hello, my name is Samir Hamid. I'm actually a byproduct of CMS elementary, middle school, and high school, so I think y'all are doing a great job. But my question is about technology. August of this year marked 1 year that I didn't have a cell phone. I just got tired of the grip that it had on my life. So what would y'all do, not like through the rules of the system that exists, but what would you personally do if we could wave a magic wand to control how technology is like distracting kids in school?
I want to go first. Technology is a tool. Kids need to have time without that tool because studies have shown that too much screen time at an early age is affecting children's vision. It definitely affects their ability to learn how to focus and concentrate. But on the other hand, it's part of their lives. So we have to carefully put it in place when it's appropriate and at the right time. I certainly used technology in my classroom, but it was somewhat very controlled on who had access and when they had access to it. I don't like the fact that parents are texting their kids on the watch when they're in class, but I also understand the need for parent access.
If the #1 school district, Los Angeles, did away with cell phones, we can too. Luckily, North Carolina did vote that they cannot have it during instructional time. Personally, I would like to have it during nothing, not even during lunch, because during lunch and free time, kids have them out. That's when the filming begins, and that's when the fights begin. We don't need that. You would see a decline in behavior issues if we didn't have those cell phones during the whole school day. I remember when I had to go to the office and call home.
As a child care provider, the state of North Carolina only allows a child a certain amount of screen time. So we really emphasize on the kids holding books, learning how to write their names, cursive, and after a while they forget about technology if you bring them up on that. It's a certain time for everything in life, and right about now it's just time to get back to the basics with our kids.
I don't have anything to add.
All right, getting down to that point. All right, somebody put it.
I think most of us find that if we are without our phone and engaged in something more meaningful, we don't miss it, we don't want it. And so making sure that we are engaging students during the school day and helping families have resources to engage their kids in connection, in community, in things that are more meaningful, that don't involve their technology, I think is kind of key to making them not want it nearly as much. And congrats on being phone free, that's amazing. And I think that all of us could do that and be closer to that if we were engaged in more meaningful activities.
And just to echo a lot of what we've already heard, I think that cell phone use by our students, they have to learn how to use it responsibly. So we can't just hide the cell phone in a box and take it away from them, but we have to teach them the appropriateness. We have to teach them common courtesies, etiquette, all of those things that a lot of adults don't even have when it comes to cell phone usage. So we must model what we expect. And once we model it, then maybe they'll believe it when we say that they don't need their cell phones.
So just in response to your question, we have a cell phone policy, no cell phones in schools. We're training students on AI. We have 30 pilot schools on AI. And for any candidate to sit up here and tell you they're gonna put something in the budget, they have to understand we have a $2 billion budget. And just because we have a good working relationship does not mean because that particular thing is gonna be funded in a way that you believe it should be funded or it should, because it is a balance, it is a balancing act. So it is not that simple, and no one can make you a promise of what the funding level of any particular item is going to be.
How you doing? Travis Solomon. So I graduated 2011, and I've been tutoring students in history for a very long time. What I found consistent throughout the textbooks is my community's achievements, like recent and historic, a lot of times are whitewashed or like completely omitted. So like if somebody came from the community with like the first-hand documents to prove that y'all are basically teaching lies to my community, what would y'all do?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
The whole thing?
No, it was just the end part, the actual question.
So like if somebody came from the community with firsthand documentation, like everything vetted, collegiate level, brought it to y'all and showed that y'all are teaching my community lives, what would y'all do?
That's a great question and one that can't be answered in 30 seconds, but I'm gonna talk real fast. We have to think about how the public school system in America came about. It really started with the elitists being able to get an education, that sound basic education we talk about. Poor people were not allowed to have access to it of any race or color or whatever. So then you have all of these folks coming, enslaved people who people didn't think should have an education. So then they had to be interwoven into substandard education. I bring that up because as a community, the school is being tasked with something to do that it wasn't designed to do in the first place. And so from that, I feel like as a community, we need to do better and not rely on our school system to teach our children what they need to learn as far as Black history. But I will say this, I'm wrapping up. There was a certain endorsement that came around with a group that wants to ban books and ban Black history. I did not accept that endorsement. I don't think everybody at this table can say the same.
Well, excuse me, I accept any kind of endorsement I get to help me, but what I'm saying is, and you're gonna hear this a lot from me, foundational teaching. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to teach our child their history because they're born into their history. They go to school, and the school teaches them history. So if it's something that you need to teach your child and the school isn't teaching it, then you need to take that opportunity to teach your child their history, where they come from, where they originated from, everything. It's all Google now.
If you bring me something from your community, I want to teach it. We are a diverse community. It is not right just to teach it at home. It's right for every community to learn about each other's history. So if you brought me something, I would want to share it, because I did that when I taught social studies. You bring me your history. It's important because your history is just as important as her history. And it's important that everybody learns it, because if you don't learn the history, you're bound to repeat the mistakes.
So, first off, I totally agree with you, sir. Black history, Latina history, Asian American history, never taught, not mentioned. It hasn't been since I was in school, and that was a long time ago. We owe it to our kids to understand who they are, where they came from, the contributions other groups besides have made to this country, and it's not fair that we are not integrating that into the history and civics curriculums.
All of that, and also to say that we must be very consciously aware of the terminology and the mindsets that we're buying into that cause us to repeat the history that once was, okay? These achievement gaps and how they're being addressed with pipelines and things like that is a pipeline that will lead you back to the history that so many people fought so hard to get us away from. Remember, the poor you will always have among you. If you buy into that mindset that your child can't learn and doesn't have the proficiencies to move forward in education, then you are indeed condoning a return of that history.
So it's about access to education. It's about access to correct information. And so if you're bringing correct information, then yes, I think that making sure the access goes all the way through the system, right? So it starts with saying, hey, let's replicate this document you've showed us. Let's make sure all of our teachers at every level teaching any history understand this correction to the information that's there and are teaching the correction. And then also making sure that we are contacting whatever the textbook people, right? Like, what is the process for making amendments to those books that we're using, and making sure that CMS is choosing materials that align with correct information, with equitable, diverse information.
So yes, we should have inclusive curriculum without a doubt. I think the question asked, I don't want to provide smoke and mirrors to anyone about what happens and how our curriculum is integrated because any particular person comes to the school district and says you need to integrate this curriculum for 141,000 students and how that happens. So I don't want to say that just because this particular person comes and says, I think you should incorporate this into your curriculum, that it's going to happen. Can the themes and the subject matters be a part of it? Absolutely. But for anyone to sit here and say, we're going to incorporate your materials throughout the distribution of 186,000 schools, no one here can make that promise to you.
What would you do?
Okay.
No, I said, so what, he asked me a follow-up question. So what I would do is definitely review the materials. I definitely am hands-on and would look at to say where there could be deficiencies or things that we're already doing. But certainly I think everybody knows in this room I sit down with anyone and look at their materials or whatever that is, which has been wide and broad. But certainly to make a promise to you, I would not do that here today. Yeah, I would not do it.
All right. Good morning. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Cedric Thomas. You talked about West Charlotte High School. I am thankfully running a mentoring program there. I'm available for 185 other schools. So I just want to help you with that problem. I have an Eagle mentoring program. Thank you, West Charlotte.
Good morning. So my question is, good morning everyone, I'm April Benson. So in February, it's for our Black History. Are we only gonna teach Black History once a month in February, and then we forget all the rest of the months that we got, 11, and just do that one?
I answer that question just simple and plain. Like I said before, we shouldn't wait for the school to teach our kids their history. We can teach our kids their history at home. They got access to computers, Google, and everything else. We have to understand that the schools can only teach but so much of history. Their hands are tied. They can't say but so many things. We live in a litigious society, and somebody might say the wrong thing, and now the school system gets sued. So I would say, once again, it's up to us to nurture our kids' mind and teach them their history, period.
So I think the real issue is, it's not necessarily Black history. It is how we are incorporated in through our curriculum. If it's in math, if it's in science, if it is in history, if it's in all of the subject matters, that we have inclusive representation in our materials that recognizes the contributions, the abilities, the leaders in all throughout the curriculum. So it should not be 1 month because it should be inclusive throughout. Our materials should be reflective of what our school system looks like throughout every lesson and every day in all of our materials.
Once again, I'll reiterate, I did not accept the endorsement of the group who would like to eliminate Black history out of books. Black history out of schools, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The accepting a certain endorsement does speak to your values. And as a Black person sitting in front of mostly Black people here today, I can tell you that I support Black history, I support Black liberation, and I support Black people being educated, along with others. Because what I understand is, if Black people get educated, all people will be educated. Thank you.
Second that. Also, what Stephanie alluded to, integrating it, cultural history, into every lesson. It is easy to do if you have the flexibility as an educator in your classroom to do it. I did it for 20 years.
We need to incorporate all histories into everything. Just like Stephanie said, we used to have books in all that covered all cultures, so that you had it in literature. We need to honor our Black, our Hispanic, our Asian scientists. We need to honor our mathematicians in the same way. So incorporating a diverse education in every subject, K through pre-K through 12 is the way that we should do it. And honoring all histories.
I think
180
Stephanie.
days.
Sorry?
180 days plus.
I think Stephanie hit the nail on the head. I think most of us are just agreeing with what she said at this point. Yeah, absolutely. Representation at every level, in every subject, all throughout. And so societally, culturally, that needs to be the case as well. Aligning with our libraries, making sure that they also have those diverse representative books and programs and things like that as well. So just making sure that even in our partnerships and the ways that we work within the community, we're also having that representation.
All right. Yeah, this is gonna be the last question before we get into announcements, since it's 5 minutes till.
Education is very critical, as we've all learned, but on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, and this question is for the two Republicans, how would you rate the current educational agenda? As they say, from the White House to the outhouse, it's consistent among Republicans. So how do you rate the educational agenda from the White House to the outhouse in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, and how would you implement what that agenda is for Charlotte-Mecklenburg?
Well, I currently rate, and I'll probably get kicked out in 15 minutes. I don't think our agenda nationally is the best. I rate it down at 1, not being number 1, but not being below 1. So would I implement the national agenda into CMS? No. I support what our agenda is, our goals and our guardrails, and for the future of our students.
Well, from what I know, by just trying to get on the school board, I'm going to have to say that I really don't know how to answer your question. Just that simple. Only thing I'm trying to do is be a young Black man to build up our Black community and keep our kids out the graveyard in the prison camp. Excuse me?
You're young.
You're young?
You're young?
You're young. Yeah, but that's basically it. You know, I don't know nothing about the outhouse and the White House. I think that was kind of wrong to say. I really do.
But it's true.
I mean, but it,
No, we don't do that yet.
No, we're not doing that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, your time is up, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. Everyone give the candidates a round of applause. All right, before we disperse and go with announcements, we're going to give the candidates 30 seconds to close out your panel this morning.
Starting from.
Start with you, Ms. Kennedy.
Oh, sorry. Hi, thank you for having me. I really appreciate everyone's questions. If you have more of them, please email me, votejillianking@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I hope you want to hear more from me, and I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Again, I'm Tony Emmahell. You can find me at aimhighwithtony.com. And my platform is about improving the outcomes for our students. That's all students. I believe that there is a mandate that we listen carefully to the words that people are using from extremist points to enter into our school board. And we have to make sure that our students are the focus. So again, aimhighwithtony.com.
Thank you, Tuesday Morning Forum. It's always a pleasure to be here. Simply put, we don't have time to play around with our students. I mean, this is like serious business. We have a $2 billion budget, 19,000 employees, 141,000 students, 186 schools. It is not playtime. This is something we have to be serious about, because what happens with our students in our school system shapes communities and has generational impact. So CMS still needs me.
Thanks for hosting this event. I'll give you my website, stoneforcms.com. I would appreciate it if you look, because there's a lot I didn't get time to say. Please check me out. District 5, former teacher, partial product of CMS, parent in CMS, and an employee of CMS. Gives a very interesting background.
Thank you, Tuesday Morning Forum. I graciously ask for your support in November. What you're gonna see from me is someone who cares deeply about District 2, someone who's going to speak loudly for the folks in District 2, but most importantly, not just advocate, get it done. With you, I would like to reimagine education, reshape possibilities, and rise together. Go to shemaya.com.
I want to thank everyone for the invitation to be here this morning. I appreciate it. If you want more information, go to kleinforschoolboard.com. I ask for your support to continue the work that we've started. It is important that we don't keep repeating the same things. It's the same discussion we had 40 years ago. I would love to see that in 40 years the discussion will be different. So please go to my website, kleinforschoolboard.com. Thank you.
It's Juan Enrique Hall, Coach Hall. You can visit me at coachhall.com. I'm a multicultural coach person. I deal with all denominations. I'm from a black community and everybody else. And one thing I can say, I'm the man for the job and not the agenda.
All right, before we get into announcements, we would like to thank Mr. Ricky Robbins for providing the pastries and everything this morning for breakfast. Yeah, go ahead. Make it rhyme. But if you have an announcement, please raise your hand and we'll ensure we'll try to ensure the microphone gets around to you.
I'm gonna work my way around.
I have an announcement. Our church, Memorial Presbyterian Church, is having an attic sale on October the 11th at 2600 Batesville Road. Please come by. We have a blood drive there as well as a car show, and we're inviting the community to come and buy some of the goods. It's twice as nice. Thank you. October the 11th, at 2600 Batesville Road, Memorial Presbyterian Church, from 8 until 2.
Okay, I'm gonna try to work my way around. I'm starting right here, I'm gonna start here, and go there.
Good morning, Yvette Townsend, Ingram Commissioner YTI, County Commissioner at Large. I know you know that there is a 1 cent sales tax on the ballot as a referendum for you to decide whether or not you want to give 1 penny so that we can improve our infrastructure. That will help schools. If that tax passes, we will need a board, an authority made of the community. There are 27 slots. Mecklenburg County gets to choose 6. Our application process is now open, and it will close October 13th. So please go to mecnc.gov and apply. I'll be happy to answer questions after this that you may have.
Ladies and gentlemen, on October 4th at 3:30 p.m., one of the foremost historically significant communities in America will have homecoming. That is the McCrory Heights. McCrory Heights homecoming is October 4th at 3:30 at First Baptist West. That is 1801 Oakland Avenue. At 4:30, we will have West Side Trivia. So if you know the West Side, come on, win some money. That is October 4th at 3:30. Food, drinks, Soul Train dance off. Oh, okay. So again, a lot of activities that I'm just learning about myself.
Hey everybody, I'm Jay Hill, CEO of the Brain Strip Agency, and on October 1st, the Power Mixer is back. Shout out to all the people in the room who've attended in the past. It's on October 1st at the Tabors Innovation Center. It's all about social capital, all about collaboration, and I appreciate you coming. You can go to thepowermixerclt.com to RSVP for free.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to let you know on Sunday, October 5th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Lakewood Westbrook's Regional Library, the Delta Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated, along with Beta Rho Sigma Sigma to Charlotte, will have a school board forum. That's on Sunday, October 5th from 2 to 4 at Lakewood Westbrook's Regional Library, also on Base 4 Library. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ricky Robbins. I'm a candidate for sheriff. I'm going to be having a meet and greet tonight at 6:30 at Heights Brewery in Camp North End. Everybody's welcome to come, and I appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Alexis. I work for the North Carolina Association of Educators. On October 11th, we're going to have a public education advocacy event. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Central Piedmont, and I have flyers I'm going to pass out. But yeah, come out and learn how to defend our schools and our kids.
She already gave my announcement, but I'm going to say happy homecoming to all my Smithites.
Good morning, I'm Anna London. I'm running for the school board for District 6. It was great to see you all last week. For those who may not have been here, I would love a chance to talk to you and have a conversation. Thank you.
Hello, on next Tuesday, we will have, that's the 30th, we will have mayoral candidates. The 30th, yes.
Good morning, everyone. Jared Keaton from Alliance Center for Education, formerly known as the Bethlehem Center of Charlotte. We are launching a year-long celebration of our 85th anniversary. So that will kick off on October the 11th at Camp Green Park from 11 to 3. Come socialize and fellowship with us. We have flyers here, but please celebrate the legacy of a community stalwart in the Bethlehem Center, October the 11th at Camp Green Park.
Good morning. Good morning, Robin Emmons. I'm happy as I return to the University of Students Choosing Running Forum to announce that I have made ballot access as the unaffiliated candidate running for Charlotte City Council District 3. So I'll be filing on Monday officially as a candidate, and I welcome conversation with you and hope to be welcome back to the Choosing Running Forum to share my platform and what I plan to do for District 3. Thank you so much.
As y'all know, I'm Bishop Ken Cooks. Y'all know where y'all going. I just wanted to announce that Friendship Missionary Baptist Church is conducting its annual revival this week. And we have 2 more nights, tonight and tomorrow. And we invite all of you to come. We are not passing the plate to raise money and all that stuff. So please come and worship. It is on fire. My second announcement is yesterday's federal holiday, which was my birthday. I'm tired of y'all laughing. But we're passing the hat. I didn't pass it yesterday, and we're gonna lock the door, and as you go out, we'll unlock it for you to get out. All right?
Jay, you know that's Santa Claus, right?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear me. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks again. We'll see you all next Tuesday.
Man, how was
Thank you.